That's correct. So the X goes against the candidate that you wish to be the mayor.
Put a note in.
That's right.
All right, okay. Got first vote for Jasmine, Councillor Jones. Apologies. 2 for Councillor Jones. 3. Councillor Cameron. Carter, sorry. Apologies. Councillor Carter. Councillor Jones. Councillor Cameron. And Councillor Carter. Councillor Carter has 3 votes. Councillor Jones has 4 votes. Councillor Cameron has 1 vote. On that basis, Councillor Cameron. Councillor Jones, 5. Okay, so the order is Councillor Jones has 5 votes, Councillor Carter has 3 votes, Councillor Cameron has 1. So Councillor Cameron is eliminated. And we go to a second round of voting for Councillor Jones and Councillor Carter.
Can I ask you to put 2 next to the name, please, so we'll know it's round 2.
So 2 at the top of the page.
2 next to the name that you're now voting for.
Okay.
One name there.
Yep, it's only 1 name.
Oh, you want to write one name
For
down?
clarity, could we put an X like we did before, but a number 2 on the page, so you know it's the second round of vote, but an X, that same voting method that we did before? Is that sensible?
So do you want me to do
It's just-
you want me to
Just
do
write it down.
If it is just
Right,
one
okay.
name, write it down.
Okay, just hang on. Do you need us to do a order of votes, or you just put a name on it? Okay, let's do that. You put the name of the person you want to be the mayor on a piece of paper out of Councillor Carter, Councillor Jones, and we'll tell you at the end of the process.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay, Councillor Jones. Councillor Carter. Councillor Carter. Councillor Jones. Councillor Carter. Councillor Carter. Councillor Jones. Councillor Jones. Councillor Jones. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 for Carter. Okay, so we move on to the Deputy Mayor. I have two nominations for Deputy Mayor. I've got Councillor Cameron and Councillor Butler. You both have an opportunity to address council, so whichever one you'd like to go. Sorry, is there anybody else that would nominate, is interested in nominating for the Deputy Mayor before we proceed? No? Okay.
I'd like to withdraw.
You withdraw?
Yes.
Okay. Well, with that, then Councillor Butler, you've been duly elected. So, congratulations, Councillor Jones and Councillor Butler on both being duly elected for the next 2 years in your role as Mayor and Deputy Mayor. I can now vacate the chair. My job is done, thankfully.
It's just been fixed. We're doing it, working on it.
Around this time. And for those in the public, if you haven't already, just turn your phones to silent. I know I can be a culprit too, so if you haven't already, that's wonderful if you could do that.
Excuse me, Madam Mayor. There were difficulties with the YouTube live streaming, but it's just been fixed. Apologies for the delay. It's just been now online, so we're live.
Apologies to those viewing from home that you missed what was taking place. To give you a brief summary, we had the election of Mayor and Deputy. We had a close contest of three candidates for Mayor, Councillor Cameron, Councillor Carter and myself, which went to a divide between the next vote between Councillor Carter and myself, and I thank you all for that majority vote. And with the withdrawal of Councillor Cameron from the deputy role election, Councillor Preston Butler is appointed Deputy Mayor unopposed. Congratulations, Deputy Mayor Butler. Okay, let's get the job started. Our first point, 4.3, delegation of authority to the Mayor. We have a recommendation before us, councillors, that the delegations to the Mayor policy be adopted and the instrument of delegation to the Mayor be signed. Do we have anyone prepared to put the motion?
I'll move as recommended.
Thank you, Councillor McGrath, and I'll just remind you to get to your feet when you're putting the motion. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, do we have a seconder? Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Butler. Okay, do we have any debate? Councillor McGrath, would you like to start, since you moved the motion? Okay.
I'm opposing the motion because I think there's some big issues here that I think need to be considered with a bit more detail as far as I'm concerned. I think if you have a look at some of the dot points, I don't think we've got enough information and detail about what they actually mean. I think the fourth dot point, negotiating and executing with the General Manager the purchase or sale of land. Well, what does that actually mean? You know, are we talking about a block down the road, or are we talking about selling the whole of North Murrumbidgee? We haven't got a limit on this, and it would seem to me as though that there are quite different circumstances where you could basically have a good think about what do we want to do, and I think I've got to point out that and maybe we haven't been aware of it enough, that council itself is the responsible authority. If the mayor goes off and has these delegated powers and makes the decision that we're not happy with, council has to wear it. Not the mayor per se, but the council. And I think we need to have a bit more information about that one. And I can go down to some other ones. Authorising legal advice or legal representation on behalf of council. Now, it seems to me as though it's fairly difficult to find out how much money is being spent on legal representation. And it seems to me as though we seem to be caught up in legal representation without the council's knowledge, and suddenly it escalates, and it can escalate, and can keep on escalating. And suddenly we're in for a reasonable amount of money that we didn't expect would be occurred on legal situations. So I'm a little bit concerned about that one as well. Affixing the common seal to a council document. Well, we had that happen with the CEO's contract. I think a number of people, two in fact, felt that even though the contract had the seal, we weren't happy about it. I think that was an example of the seal should have gone back to council, should have gone back to us to have a good consideration of whether that contract should have been had an increase in salary, etc. But we move on. And finally, the one underneath that, investigating, appointing, approving and authorising matters in relation to the general manager. Well, that's pretty vague, and I think all of those four that I brought up, I think need more information. So I'd be sort of suggesting, foreshadowing a motion that we request further information and that be delivered to the next council meeting. Thank you.
That was under 5 minutes, thank you, Councillor Cameron. I take it that you are not foreshadowing?
I am foreshadowing motion.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. Do we have any other speakers for? So what we have here is an opportunity to reject this and go with a foreshadowed motion, but Councillor Cameron has failed to state what his foreshadowed motion would be.
The foreshadowed motion, Mayor, the foreshadowed motion is we request further information and so that it can be discussed in more detail at the next meeting of council, which is 2 weeks away.
Okay. We'll just get time to put this up. So that council requests further information, so we can discuss in more detail in 2 weeks.
Through you, Madam Mayor. May I ask a question of the CEO, please? Is there any further information you can give us right now, just in relation to Councillor Cameron's primary concerns? We did receive an email this afternoon or this morning as well, which outlined what the primary concerns were, and I have to say that I did agree with some of Councillor Cameron's points, but just in regards to asking for further clarification on some of those items.
Through you, Madam Mayor, the instrument of delegation has been drafted by a legal team. It's pretty consistent with councils across the region. So just working through some of those comments that were made, the negotiating and executing the purchase or sale of land is only following a council decision. If council haven't made a decision, there is no delegation to exercise. Okay? Affixing the common seal to a council document, again, the council would normally, well, first of all, seals are very rarely used in this day and age. Contracts are just usually signed and witnessed by both of the parties. The use of the actual seal, which is a stamp, which requires a council resolution, and then it's delegated to the mayor to be able to apply that seal. Again, only following the council decision in relation to that matter. Again, as I said, rarely done in this day and age. Investigating, appointing, approving and authorising matters in relation to the general manager, well, that's certainly pretty standard. If there are concerns in regards to the general manager's performance, I would have thought that there would be the need for, in consultation with other members of the council, without the need for a council decision to have an investigation into matters, whatever they are, undertaken so that then a process can be started. Waiting for a council meeting and having that undertaken in a public forum is not ideal. You would need, that's why it's provided for the mayor to do that sort of thing. Can't remember what the other one was. The fourth?
No, the legal one.
The legal one. A legal representation, authorising legal advice or representation on behalf of council. Well, I think that there's always the ability to seek legal advice, but at the same time, you also have the ability to withdraw from legal proceedings depending on what the advice is. You don't necessarily have to get into a cycle of continuing legal action until there's an end result. There's often you will negotiate to a point of agreement. You may actually get to a point where the initial legal advice says to you, don't proceed, and that will end at that particular point. But there's going to be checks and balances depending on what the particular matter is, where the advice is being sought. And I think that it's appropriate that the mayor does have a delegation of to be able to do that on behalf of council. That's not unusual, not in my experience.
Councillors, any other questions?
Madam, may I speak briefly? My concern, it's not necessarily a question, but my concern is that there is a degree of difference between the wording in what's before us and the actual wording of attachment A and B. And that is a slightly confusing sense to me. I understand why that is, but for example, it says here that in front of us in 4.3 that we authorise legal advice on legal representation, but the actual delegation in attachment B is negotiations on behalf of council. It's quite a different wording. And that concerns me that there is this separation between what is an interpretation of a legislative document. I understand that it might have been done by a legal team, but there seems to be some differences creeping in between what the law suggests under section 226 here and what this policy has in the specifics of its wording. That worries me that there is that gap in separation, and maybe in support perhaps of the foreshadowed motion by Councillor Cameron, there might be a sense here that we should get a little bit more advice about that as to why there is that separation between the wording, or perhaps we need to have that wording clarified to be more uniform, I would have thought. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillors, if I can just share a couple of words with you before we go to Councillor McGrath to close. It's been my experience, particularly in the property matter, that everything has come before council, whether it be a small annexed corner of a block that we need for a road reserve worth $6,000, or the acquisition of much larger blocks. And while there is no upper limit for what the mayor can sign off on, all of it must come before council, according to the delegation here. That the process is that it comes before council, while the authority to actually do the transaction is the delegation that you're giving the mayor.
For the first point, to exercise in cases of necessity the policy-making functions of the governing body of the council between meetings of the council. I believe that that it would be rare that this function would be on something controversial, and that it would be up to the mayor to quite robustly test that it is necessary to do this without consulting the council, and that if that is the case, that those reasons should be documented and presented, of course, during the mayoral minute. It's completely up to councillors whether they would prefer further information and see this returned to the meeting on the 24th. Okay. Councillor McGrath.
I can only reiterate what you have said, Madam Mayor. The policy-making functions of the Mayor are legislative. I mean, that's straight from the Local Government Act, as far as I'm aware. In terms of signing off on sales, as you've also said, and as the CEO has mentioned, the Mayor is simply giving effect to council decisions. The Mayor does not act arbitrarily as a result of this, but I can understand that you're wanting clarification. I'm quite comfortable with you, with the CEO providing that.
Thank you.
All right, councillors, are you prepared to vote now? Let's do a show of hands, thank you. All those in favour of the motion from McGrath Butler that the delegations go ahead and be signed? We have a majority, thank you, 5. Councillors McGrath, Butler, Rothwell, Burgess and Jones.
Those against.
Those against? Councillors Chari, Councillors Carter, Councillors Cameron and Councillor Flannery. Councillors, moving on. Councillors Chari, Carter, Cameron, Flannery, yes. 4.4, we're dealing with the casual vacancies within 18 months of last ordinary election, and we have a recommendation before us. Do we have a mover?
Perhaps just a bit of background. Previously, there used to be a countback system. You used to have to go to a by-election, and by-elections used to cost you as much as what a normal election cost you. This has been relatively recent in the last few years, has been introduced to avoid the need for a by-election, and you can simply just use the feedback in the election that's just gone to do a countback and appoint a replacement councillor or councillors. So routinely councils are doing this more and more, so that they avoid that need for a by-election.
I'll move the recommendation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very fast on your feet there, sir.
Needs to be changed, if you read the document. The date's wrong. The date talks about the
It is.
previous council.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. On the date, which
Picked
needs
up on
to
Facebook.
be 14th.
4th of September.
Already feels like a year ago. Okay, so with that adjustment, Councillor McGrath, do I have a seconder?
Second motion.
Thank you. Councillor Carter. Do we have any debate? Questions? Prepared to vote? Okay. All those in favour? Unanimous, thank you. Moving on to 4.5, council meeting times. Councillors, as we look at this motion, I might suggest, if there is the will to do it, that we go into a committee of the whole so that you can back and forth as to what's appropriate, and you may stay seated during that time. So I think first we have to move the motion and then go to a committee of the whole.
So,
Thank you, Councillor Butler. And seconder? Do I have a seconder for this too? Yep, thank you, councillor Cameron. And who would like to do a procedural motion to put us in a committee of the whole?
So moved.
Okay. Thank you, councillor McGrath. Yeah, terrific, okay. All right, councillors, you can stay in your seats as we discuss this. We have a 5-minute committee of the whole. So we can discuss what's the best time. This may be wrapped up in 60 seconds, but I just thought it best, rather than just give you one say on the subject, we can to and fro.
Just a clarification, Madam Mayor, this is about the date of the meeting?
The date and the time,
And time.
correct.
So the current Code of Meeting Practice provides for the meeting to be held at 4 p.m. on the fourth Thursday of each month, with the exception of December and January. Usually there's no meeting in January, and there's a third Thursday of the month in December. That's the current arrangement.
So we have, this currently works, we're here now, we're all here. Unless someone had extreme difficulties, or your work or responsibilities made it so impossible and we had a shared view that we could change it, I'm very happy to continue at 4 p.m. on a Thursday. I understand Councillor Rothwell might have some challenges if it was on a Wednesday.
I can't do it Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm happy with 4 p.m. on Thursdays.
Anyone object to that time?
I think the only thing I'd say, Madam Mayor, is that it would be useful if we're going to allow people via Zoom and other technologies to come through the public forum, that we more carefully communicate that to the public. I think the challenge, of course, if it was in the room 4 o'clock to limit certain people that could be here, but certainly, if it is better use of Zoom technology and other bits and pieces to allow other members of the public to join, then I'm fine with Thursday at 4 o'clock.
And we also have the capacity with, when we had COVID, people were able to pre-record and send in as a video what they wanted to say to council too. So, and that option is still available.
So basically there's a number of options, like in the open forum, people can either come into the meeting and address councillors. It can be via Teams, or it can be pre-recorded. They're all options. Once open forum is finished, the council meeting then starts. The open forum is only for people who've got, or only in relation to people who've got a stake in an issue that's on the agenda. So when we say that the meeting starts at 4, it's open forum will start at 4, with the formal council meeting starting immediately after the last speaker.
Well, judging from everyone's consensus on this, it sounds like that council could do a motion which retains the 4th Thursday of the month for ordinary meetings of council at 4 p.m. with open forum, the exception being December, which will shift to the 3rd Thursday with no meeting in January.
Can I make one comment about that? Because
Yes.
my understanding is that there was a previous decision of council that they would be held on Thursday the 12th of December, which is actually the 2nd Thursday of December. There's 2 things about that. That day happens to be the Yass Christmas parade evening as well. And so it would be good, I think, if we follow what clause 3.1.1 suggests, which is actually the 3rd Thursday of December, which would be the 19th.
Which is what it's proposing. So we're proposing the exception being December, the 3rd Thursday.
Correct, but we've got email invites through councillors suggesting the meetings to be the 12th.
Oh, okay,
And
understood.
I understand that was a meeting that stood at the previous council.
Right, understood. Yes, I think the ground has moved towards that.
I think if you need a motion, councillors, it's simply that the council determined that the schedule for meetings will remain as they are in the Code of Meeting Practice. That way,
Yep.
you don't need to change anything.
Excellent. So we just need to come out of our committee of the whole.
Could that be explained a little bit more, with the code of meetings, we're just doing the council meeting per se?
ordinary council meetings,
Yeah,
with the exception being December,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
forward. Which is in the code of meeting practice already. Okay. So, can I have councillor bring us out? Thank you, councillor Burgess, out of the committee of the whole. Okay, so we now need a motion of that nature.
So
Put some words up there.
through you, Madam Mayor, it reads that the date and time of the council meetings remain as per the current code of meeting practice. You happy with that?
I'll second this.
So we have, sorry, I have Butler and Cameron up there already.
Just ignore that.
Okay, sorry, okay, so we have Carter and McGrath. Alright, any closing comments, opening comments, now that we're out of the committee of the whole? You don't have to, if you're happy, that's fine. Happy? Okay, alright, prepared to vote? All those in favour? That's unanimous. 4.6, the Local Government New South Wales Annual Conference 4.
Councillors, we've made two reservations already, mainly because we have the ability to cast two votes on any motions that are presented at the conference. It's a 3-day event, it's in Tamworth, and it starts on Sunday the 17th through to Tuesday the 19th of November.
Just put some.
We will need to be a little bit more specific.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
So you'll need to determine who the delegates are going to be.
Okay,
But I applaud your enthusiasm.
thank you.
Look, I'm happy to attend as your mayor, and I'm open to suggestions as well. If we have someone who'd be prepared to move to nominate, you can nominate someone else and they can reject it. Just by the way, if you want to talk someone into this.
I nominate councillor Cameron.
We have attended things together, councillor.
You can reject.
no, I'll accept, if other people don't want to go, like your good self.
I did a Google Maps and it was quite far.
So,
Country music, though.
Councillor Butler, I presume you move that one.
Yes, thank you.
Please.
Seconder, please. The motion. Councillor Flannery. Okay. So is everyone happy with the nominations as Jones and Cameron? And, well, I'll ask you that in a second, sorry. And any motions to be submitted for consideration at the conference be determined by council. Can you clarify what it says in the report that the business pages is Sunday 20th October? Are you talking about their business pages or our business pages? Their business pages.
I will let them know tonight. Yeah.
So if there's any motion that we wish to have debated, we need to, the absolute latest we can do this is by Sunday, the 20th, we would need to get done. But look,
We don't, how do we know?
no,
To
really,
approve it.
and it's, do you really have the time to actually develop and debate and work out a motion?
I think we're a bit short on time then.
What was the deadline, sorry?
20th.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was supposed to be by 16th of August, so.
It's through that, look, it is a frustration, but I can tell you now that when you get 170 motions and they start debating them and they get through 20 and then they take the rest on notice, you just wonder why. It's one of the big frustrations, I think, for a lot of the delegates who go there is that lots of councils put in lots of motions and half of them don't even get debated.
So we have a resolution up on the board, but we actually can't see it now because the voting square is in front of it. However, we were resolving to have Jones and Cameron attend as voting delegates for the Local Government New South Wales Conference. And I think we should delete
Yeah,
2 because we're
It's
not
not
going to do that.
surplus to requirements, that's correct. So just that the attendees and voting delegates to the Local Government New South Wales Conference be Mayor, Councillor Jasmine Jones and Councillor Adrian Cameron.
Is the mover and the second okay with that amendment? Okay, thank you.
No, just, we should, likely update the dates in the summary. It's 17th to the 1st of November, I think that should be the 9th.
Yes, there's dropped to a 9 off this, it should be the 17th to the 19th. Yeah, yes, that's a typo, it's correct in the report, thank you. Okay. All right, any last comments from the mover? Councillor Harper? No, okay, all right. All those in favour? That's unanimous, thank you. On to our item 4.7, Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. We have a recommendation before us that a councillor be appointed, so we need a motion and nominating a councillor for this Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee.
Nominate David Carlos.
Okay. So that's put by, a motion by Councillor Rothwell, seconded by Councillor Burgess. Okay, so any comments? Any debate?
Just the these 2.
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought the mayoral speech made it quite clear that he was up for this, sorry.
Yeah, happy to accept the nomination, but we probably don't put Councillor Rothwell's name
Yeah.
Yeah, nominate you,
Sorry.
Basically, the time for us.
We must appreciate that this is like having your own plates on a machine for this year.
So that Councillor David Cameron be appointed to the Audit and Risk
Yes.
Improvement Committee.
All right, we have a mover, we have a seconder, we have a willing candidate. Any comments before we close off and vote? I'd just like to say thank you very much for accepting the nomination, Councillor Carter, and I look forward to your insights on that committee, thank you. All right, let's vote. All those in favour? Unanimous, thank you. Okay, on to the Regional Planning Panel, council members for item 4.8. So the purpose of this is to nominate 2 councillors, one and the alternate for the Southern Regional Planning Panel, and also to accept the appointments of the Director of Planning and Environment from Goulburn-Mulwary Council and the Director of Development and Environment from Queanbeyan Panorama Council as the alternate members for that planning panel as well. Do we have 2 councillors prepared to do that? I'm looking directly at Councillor McGrath.
Yes, I'm happy to accept nomination, Councillor Brown.
I'd like to nominate Fleur as well.
Councillors, are you happy with that order? Would you like to debate that order? You're happy with that?
I think Fleur should take the lead on that, with her experience in this area. How do you feel about that, Alan?
Oh, I'm more than happy.
So
Reverse the order, Flo, followed by Alan. Do you accept that nomination? Thank you, Councillor Flannery. Okay. All right, so we have our 2 councillors nominated, Councillor Flannery, Councillor McGrath. Any debate? Any comments? Oh, mover and a seconder would be helpful, sorry. Yeah, so moved, Councillor Rothwell.
Second.
Councillor
Rothwell moved, councillor Butler seconded. Any comments? Councillors, I thank you very much for accepting those nominations. I think the opportunity to serve on this will be intermittent, but when it does come up, it's usually something quite significant, and I know that your skills will be very much appreciated and your experience. So let's vote. All those in favour of councillors?
Just hang on,
Sorry.
just gotta fix up the word.
Certainly, yeah.
Alright, we're good to go.
There we go.
Okay, councillor Rothwell, any closing comments?
No, I think I'll do the job.
Alright, let's vote councillors, all those in favour? And unanimous again, thank you. And that is the end of the job in record speed. I just thought this was going to be an hour and a half. Councillors, I need someone to move that we close. Thank you, councillor Flannery. And seconded, councillor Shari. And the meeting closed at 5:06. Thank you, councillors.